everybody, welcome back to the channel. This is your host Majestic speaking with another episode of MechWarrior Online here. And today we're going to be doing another viewer request build, this time in the Direwolf Prime variant. And the build is coming from one of a great subscriber, huge supporter of the channel, and my good friend Sally1. So in case you guys see him in-game and you want to drop him a line about the build, if you do want to run this build, or you modify it in any capacity, feel free to message him in-game. Or if you want to leave any comments, questions, concerns, or suggestions in the comment section below, I'm sure he will be reading them. So any kind of constructive criticism, feedback, if you love the build, I will leave the link in the description for the Smurfy in case you guys want to run it for yourselves. But this is Sally1's prized possession that he likes to call Lisa. So we're going to be taking Lisa out there on the battlefield for a round of gameplay and see how she performs. Now again, if you guys do check out the Smurfy build, run it for yourselves. If you do want to mess around with the build at all and modify it in any capacity, feel free to leave any feedback for him. I'm sure he would appreciate it regardless. So let's hop into the garage here and see a little bit of the overview first. So first and foremost, we're going to check out the hard points. We have 3 ballistic, 10 energy, 1 missile, 0 AMS, and 0 ECM. But we're not utilizing every single one of those hard points. Let's check out the loadout. We have 2 UAC-10s, 1 in each arm, 2 ERPPCs, again, 1 in each arm, and then we have an LRM-15 in the left torso, cramming the rest with either UAC-10 ammo, LRM ammo, or double heat sinks. And altogether, we have 100 out of 100 tons, 71 out of 78 slots, 608 out of 614 armor. 1.31 is the heat management ratio, so pretty heat efficient. It's got 21 double heat sinks, so we have 11 or 10 that were in the engine, then 2 on top of the engine, and then 9 that were placed externally, including the ones that are preset in this variant. So all in all, this thing runs pretty well. I mean, it only has a 55-point alpha, which I know a lot of people aren't used to. If you stack up really, you can make a lot of different builds with the Direwolves, obviously having 100 tons to work with, and it is an Omni-Mech. People are switching out components based on their liking. Some will laser boat it. A lot of people just go all DACA. I mean, especially if you have the ultraviolet Omnipods and everything in there, then you can really make a DACA Wolf. But for this particular variant and this particular build, taking everything into consideration, it's very well balanced. You're taking advantage of all 100 tons. We have a very decent heat management ratio. We have 21 double heat sinks, so we know the heat dissipation is going to be there. And a 55-point alpha is no joke. Now, it does go 52.2 kph. That is with speed tweak and everything. This is a mastered mech, and it has a jump distance of 5.7 meters. So it's not really like that big of a jump distance. It does have those jump jets in there. But, I mean, all in all, when we take everything into consideration, it's just not really doing much. I mean, despite having that jump distance there, it's really to help get over small little hills and stuff like that, just to keep the Direwolf moving so he doesn't get stuck on any terrain or anything in that capacity. It has a preset Clan XL 300 engine in there, so we cannot switch that out, unfortunately. Otherwise, you might see people put in a Clan XL 400 or something. Just mix it up, make this thing a little faster, and then, again, switching out the Omnipods and everything, it would be pretty lethal. But if we look at the modules, all we put on here was the 9x9 and the UAV. I didn't get any specs on what mech or weapon modules to place on there. For me, personally, I would probably either put on ERPPC cooldown or range, and then for the modules, I would do advanced seismic and maybe radar depth or target info gathering. Those are my go-tos. If you do UAC cooldown, it might jam up, and then it's not really that useful. Range, you could do LRM range and cooldown. You could also do, but again, I would probably stick with the ERPPCs, because if I were to solo out particular weapons without wasting any kind of ammo in any capacity, I would want to go with the ERPPCs, just because I know I could keep firing them off and keep pretty decent heat management. So that's what I would do with it. As for what Sally1 does with it, I'm not actually entirely sure. So maybe he'll comment on this video and say what modules he's placed on it, if he has any. So he might not have any at all. He might just be running with maybe some consumables, or he might just run it bare. But in any case, we're going to take out the Lisa Direwolf build right now in the pug queue. So let's turn to the tape and actually see how we do. Alrighty guys, first round is going to take place on the Mining Collective. Definitely a short-range approach with a medium to long-range build, so kind of curious to see how this pans out. Definitely going to provide some support with the long-range missiles, but when it comes to the PPCs and UX, we're definitely going to be able to get some damage in from close range. Now, first things first, since we are playing Conquest, we're going to help cap our point right over here in Charlie 5, Sigma. And then probably just group up with the rest of the team. So what normally tends to happen is they're probably going to have their assault lance on the opposite side of the map. So probably Charlie 2 or Charlie 3 is where they're going to group up. And we're just going to push in on that side most likely, because it seems like the team is walking our way anyway. They are forming up on their assaults, which is definitely a good sign. Yeah, we have our buddy the Marauder 2C already in Sigma. They did cap Gamma, which I'm guessing is all lights and medium mechs. There we go. Just speed up this process a little bit. Keep walking forward. Got most of the cap. There we go. And we also got Epsilon, but they got Kappa. So 2-2, obviously the last point being Theta in the middle. So now we're going to form up with the rest of the group here. Just check out what else is available. We have Alpha that's way off in the distance on the other side of the map, not even in range of our LRMs, 1,400 meters away, so we're just going to try and ignore that. But we do have, like I said, there are the assaults on the other side, so we're going to have some easy shots right here. We're going to group up with everyone and hopefully focus in some fire and pretty much seal off the flank. So we're going to fire our LRMs, get some quick damage in. This Atlas is just, he clearly just went out there trying to get some shots in, but didn't realize that he had the rest of our team helping out. And we're going to get some shots in on him right here. We're going to take some damage, but we do have the support from the rest of the team. We're taking a little bit of a beating, but I do have the support of the rest of the team. We lost a friendly, but we did even up the score there. Sly Boots evened it up for us, and the Marauder 2C right here is going to go down pretty quickly as well. Now, this second Marauder 2C is also opened up. Lost both of his torsos, and there he goes. We get the kill shot because we took off that other torso, so he's going to go down. We do overheat. Now, this Direwolf is also cored up pretty much, almost dead. Overload again on the heat, but we do get the kill shot, so there he goes. 2 kills for us. We do overheat on both of them, but it was definitely worth it. No harm, no foul. Didn't core up our inside or anything like that. The damage was already red from before when we were getting targeted by a majority of their team. So now we did seal off the flank, which puts their team at a huge disadvantage because we were able to take out pretty much their entire assault lance. But now we're going to whip around the corner here just to see if there's anything on the radar, and they do have a 4-to-1 cap advantage on us, but we are neutralizing Kappa, so it's 3-to-1 right now, and our guy is sticking with Kappa, so that will flip to our side, so we'll be able to gather some resources off that as well. So it'll only be 3-to-2, but it doesn't look like they're taking the center. So we do have some big boys up here, including myself. Just scanning over real quick, gonna neutralize Theta as much as we possibly can, just to stop the counter going in their favor. And we're gonna do some Overwatch here as well. So we're checking out, we see this Blackjack's out here in the middle of the open. He is completely legged. We're gonna get some shots down on him, and there goes a dual Gauss shot right to the chest, and there he goes. He's gonna go down. Now we're constantly providing some long-range support. That Cataphract is clearly going to back up pretty quick. He took dual PPCs to the chest, and it pretty much seems like their team is on our side of the map from where we first spawned. So with that being said, I'm just going to check out this this commando here. Looks like he's going to get cored up, probably get taken out pretty soon. Yeah, our team is focusing up on him now. He lost his arm, so that's about a third of his armament that he just lost there. And now we're focusing in on Indigo, my team quickly suppressing him back into cover. So we're just going to stick around here. We don't want to make any kind of aggressive movements. Delta is over there. Indigo we know is over here, and they're pretty scattered. They're all on our side of the map from where we originally spawned. So we're constantly just going to provide some support fire. They do have the speed advantage. So as you can see, I'm grouped up with some assaults here. But if they group up and they decide to take one side of the map and we're on the other side, it's going to take a while for us to get there. So we're going to try and avoid that as much as possible. We do have a lot of support from the rest of the team. Everyone's focusing up on Juliet. Now, they do get a kill on us, but we're going to go for Indigo. We're going to try and say, I feel like Indigo has to be close, and there he comes. He came right out of the tunnel, so this gives us a huge opportunity to take him out of the battle, and there he goes. I believe, yeah, we got him from the center torso, so he just popped kind of like a cherry. I feel like he probably knew his fate was coming one way or another and kind of just gave in. So we're just going to push into this tunnel a little bit, make sure that there's nothing left there, but there goes another kill. So again, some more security on our side. Gonna come out of this tunnel, maybe group up, and Juliet is still alive, so he is getting focused in now. We fired that final salvo of Lerms, and we actually stole that kill. That last salvo of 15 Lerms actually got us the kill. A very cheap kill, if you ask me. Definitely a dirty way of getting it, so yeah, definitely not well-deserved on my part. I'm sure the rest of my team cored him up. I just got the kill shot. But from the looks of it, based on looking at the scorecard, there's just one disconnect left. And I'm not sure if he was part of the match and disconnected or if he's been disconnected the entire time. But it looks like the rest of my team is going back towards the enemy spawn points in, you know, with the understanding that he was probably disconnected the entire game. So they're probably going to look for him at the spawn points. We'll group up with him. We'll just hop back down. Maybe we could get some support. I don't know. Maybe someone, you know, will figure out which part or which lance he spawned in so that we can all kind of focus up and just end the round. We do have a 4-to-1 cap advantage at this point, and there's that Marauder. That Marauder's been with us all game. He was with us in the beginning when we took on the Assault Lance. He was with us on top when we were capping Theta, when we were giving support fire on Juliet. Even, I think he might have been with us even when we finally took down Indigo. So this guy's been our buddy, our indirect buddy. And yeah, there's Lima. Okay, so Lima is a Thunderbolt, completely disconnected. We're going to fire off a salvo of missiles. We're not even within range with the Lerms. But there we go. Now we're in range, and we fire them off. Maybe we'll get an assist. Even if we don't, it was still a fantastic round. And they just didn't make it there in time. So we did get the kill. We got all the bonuses and everything except for that last kill assist. We did fire off a salvo, but it just didn't make it there in time. A little too slow. But nonetheless, a great round, a great first round of gameplay, I should say. 4 kills, 5 assists, 10 components destroyed with 695 damage. So great first round. Let's see if we can carry it on into the next. Alrighty guys, so as you can see, we are in our second round of gameplay now on Crimson Strait, this time a mid-range map. So let's see how Lisa performs in this kind of situation when we have a little bit more distance to work with between the enemies. So first and foremost, again, we are playing skirmish game mode. We are on the side of the platform. But for whatever reason, I just don't feel comfortable, especially in a 100-ton assault, just sticking to the platform, staying on top. You know, you're a big, meaty target, and there are a lot of vantage points around the platform that our enemies can get some easy, quick damage on us. So, first and foremost, maybe the team will group up with us and, you know, just push over the saddle, maybe get in behind them. That's what I'm hoping for, at least. You might hear me in the background over comms. I was trying to convince them, hey, let's maybe push the saddle instead of sitting here like ducks, like it is like on a typical game, and just see who outshoots the other. Let's try and mix it up a little bit. Let's see if we can swing around. Even though I'm only going 52 kph, I still think that that kind of maneuver at this point is worth it, because we don't want to be sitting ducks up on the top. And it would mix it up a little bit. So let's see if we can maybe catch a couple of them, you know, napping in the back. We have Alpha that's out far in a Huntsman. And we're going to start making our way towards the saddle just in case our team does decide to come with us.
Yeah, man, go for it. All over.
Might take a little while. Yeah, And there I am over the comms, just telling everyone I am pushing for the saddle and seeing that the rest of the team actually is following me. They must like that idea, maybe switching it up for them as well. I feel like Crimson Strait has been selected quite often lately. So pretty much just trying to mix it up a little bit. Maybe might take our opponents off guard a little bit, knowing that we're coming over the saddle, even though we do have the, you know, the fortress kind of position, being up on top of the platform. So we are whipping around now into the lower city on the other side of the saddle. And it looks like we're pretty well grouped. I mean, you see a couple of our friendlies hanging back on the saddle. But we did try to communicate. This fat mech can't fit in between the drum and the wall. Oh my gosh. So we're going to have to walk around. We have another Marauder buddy this time. So we're probably going to stick with him. It looks like he's pretty much going the same speed as us. Maybe a little faster, but we'll be able to keep pace pretty much. Now, we did lose a friendly. Probably our scout, or one of our scouts. Or no, that was a Kodiak. He was in my lance. Yeah, he was up on the platform, so I guess he decided to disregard what we were talking about and pushing around the side, and unfortunately he gets taken out by the enemy team.
Coming through the tunnel hard.
Okay, well now we're getting news that they are pushing pretty hard in the tunnel. Hopefully getting down some damage. Hopefully they wait for us, though. Yep, they do have heavies and assaults in the tunnel, so they do have some serious firepower. Definitely a lot of tanky tonnage to work with. And we're just going to start laying into them with whatever we got. So we're throwing down some artillery fire. We see our group is pretty much stacked up at the entrance to the tunnel. They're probably not going to stick around there too long. Yeah, and they're already heading up onto the ramp, so hopefully we're trying to get them to get away from the tunnel. Obviously, if there are only assaults and heavies there, they're just out-tunned, probably outgunned as well. So maybe get some quick kills on Alpha, and yeah, there we go. There's one quick kill, and Alpha is still alive in that Huntsman, and he has both legs cored at this point, so we could easily get him down from a leg. Provide some support fire, get that Jenner in the back, 2 PPCs to the back, must not feel very good, especially in a light mech. And there goes that kill on the Huntsman, and this assault here looks like a Marauder 2C. He's stacked up on the wall, and that was a horrible shot with the UX, but we do regain focus here. Hotel is now our primary target, just laying down some wood onto him, along with the rest of the team, constantly firing in our shots with the PPCs and the UX, following up with the Lerms. And hopefully we can get a kill shot on him before he gets back to the cover of his team. And there we go, some more support fire from the team, and it looks like he might pop. Is he going to go? Yes, there he goes. So finally we do get that Marauder 2C down. They are very, very tanky mechs. Very powerful, very tanky. Juliet over here on a Mad Dog, and he's already getting focused by our team. Does pop off the radar, but now he is back yet again. And we're going to pop up over here, closer to the beginning of these buildings, because I feel like a couple of them are over there. This Jenner is still hanging around, and it looks like he's going to get some PPC fire that we are able to connect. So that definitely provides a huge amount of support pushing that Jenner back. And I think they're realizing that we are pushing in now from around on the other side of them, and this Stalker has no idea that we're here, so we're going to be able to put some free damage in on him. Between the PPCs, the UACs, and he does return fire with the Lerms, but we do have more supportive fire than anyone else, so we're able to focus in on him a lot more. That Mad Dog does go down, and Lima, that Stalker, is trying to whip around the corner there, but we're going to hang tight. I don't want to push too far forward because then that'll give our opponents some easy shots on me, and I don't want to lose anything. So we're going to provide some supportive fire with the Lerms, follow up with the PPCs and the UACs, maybe get another dual PPC fire in there, and there he goes. We do get the kill on him, so we are able to knock out that Stalker with the Lerm support. And now it looks like more cleanup than anything. It's 9-3 at this point. We have a Mauler in the tunnel that looks like he's probably cored up. Echo is also getting focused in. And yeah, that Mauler, he lost half of his armament. This Warhammer is out in the open, and my team is just swallowing him up. This Marauder is going to finally get the kill on him. Did step in front of me there, so I decided not to fire. I don't want to put any team damage down when, you know, pretty much just clean up at this point. And there goes the final kill on that Gridiron. So ultimately, we were able to pick up, even though we were down from the beginning. Final score 12-4. Let's see how we did on an individual basis, though. 1 kill, 5 assists, 535 damage, 3 components destroyed. So not as great as the last round, but definitely great from a team collaboration standpoint. We did a great job wrapping them up, sticking together, providing some focus fire as a team, and ultimately securing the victory. But now let's move on to the third round. Here we go. Well, guys, here we go. Third and final round is going to take place on a long-range map, and this time we're going to be featuring Grim Plexus. I have a feeling this is probably going to be maybe our strongest outing of the three, just because of the fact that our loadout does cater to the mid to long range kind of role. So definitely going to be able to put in some damage from supportive distances, but hopefully we can close in with the rest of the team. I did do a little bit of a drop command here, just trying to get everyone on the same page. Having our light scout for us is huge. We only had one in this round, so hopefully he is able to actually, get some information, some intel for us so that we can group up and hopefully focus our fire and, again, secure a victory. So we're grouping up again with our assaults here, telling the team, please don't leave your fatties behind. We do want to be a part of the battle with you guys, and the only way we could support you is if we actually survive to do so. So getting some feedback from our light, he's just relaying some information back to us on where our opponents are moving to. Now, we are going to cross into open terrain here, so we probably will take some fire here. But if that secures our position on the map in the Hotel 6, Hotel 7, Gulf 6, Gulf 7 quadrants, I feel like that could set up really, really nicely, especially if their team just decides to kind of camp on that side of the platform. We have a lot of firepower, and based on if they do provide some long range, we'll be able to close in pretty quickly just because we'll have the numbers and the tonnage. So just taking a quick peek across the map, we do have some PPC fire coming in. That Shadowcat is up on one of the ridges there. He is providing some long-range support, and there he goes. Yeah, I'm getting targeted by multiple enemies now. That Summoner and the Shadowcat up on the ledge are focusing in on me. Just going to throw some return fire, let them know that I see him. So hopefully they'll take their eyes off of me. But we're staying together. Everyone is sticking with each other, so no one is being left behind. We do kind of have a couple that are straggling in the back. Hopefully they do stick with us for when we make a push. And again, we are taking some PPC fire. So thank God it's at very, very long distance there because it's not putting down an optimal amount of damage at that range. Thought I could have locked the target and get some quick shots in with the Lerms, but unfortunately we did lose target pretty quickly there. Now my team does look to be mostly long range. We do have this brawly looking Cicada with us, so he'll be able to peek and Pop-Tart at closer ranges, but we do have to provide some support up on this platform. This is definitely where we're going to stand. So I think the enemy team knows that majority of us are here at this point. So we have a Huntsman, the Packet Hero over there. Looks like my team is going to try and form up and maybe get a quick kill on him if they can. And unfortunately, we lose the lock again, so we aren't able to get some Lerms down on him. And it looks like he might be right up against that wall, so I don't think any of our Lerms are going to make any kind of connection. Yeah, he's going to survive. So he's right up against the wall, and now he's getting supported by some of his assaults. So this is a huge opportunity for us to show off our muscle with some numbers here. We're going to take in between the blocks as our position for right now. Just because we see on the mini-map we do have some support on both our left and our right. We're able to get some shots down on this Marauder to see extra damage for our team and just support of UAC and PPC fire just to let them know you are not safe in that position, sir. So we're going to stick right next to the block. We have a rifleman next to us. Just telling everyone to stay aggressive. We do have some smoke coming down. It looks like an arty strike on our team. But we're going to stand up in here. We're not going to move from our spot. Might have taken a little bit of damage there, but we don't want to take extra damage by being out of position. So staying here, just making sure everyone is calling a target if they see it. That's what I'm relaying to everyone over comms at this point. And we're going to whip around this corner any second now. Now that I see I have some numbers with me, this rifleman is just I could tell he's just anxious to push around the corner here. And the assaults that are with me, yeah, that Cicada made a shot. This Kodiak is with us now. We're pushing around the corner, get some shots down. Marauder 2C and that Huntsman are going to eat a ton of the damage that we're putting out. We're going to back up a little bit just because we don't want to get cored. This Rifleman is going to take our place. They do get a kill. We also get a kill, but now we're back in business. We're going to poke around the corner again, get some shots down, and again, fire in on this Marauder 2C. And there he goes, finally getting the kill. Is one of my teammates, Mystic Evil, was the one who put down that final kill shot on that Marauder 2C. I was telling everyone to focus up on Delta, that other Marauder 2C, but it looks like we have a Huntsman in the backfield, so we are able to get the kill on him. Now we can turn our attention towards Delta, which I originally hoped to do, and he is legged, and that right torso is completely open, so we're going to put down some damage. He's trying to turn away. My team is ultimately going to fire in and get the kill, so there he goes. And this Shadowcat's right in front of us, and we're able to put 2 PPCs right into his back and get an automatic kill shot on him. Score now is 8-4. We're going to go for Flame here, the Dragon Hero, or one of the Dragon Heroes. And it looks like he pretty much knows what his fate entails, and it looks like he actually might be running towards us. So we're going to be able to put some support fire down. With the Lerms, just get some extra damage in there. Fire off those PPCs, fire off the UAX, just give this guy a dose of everything. And we do unfortunately overheat, but he's just overwhelmed by the rest of my team. He doesn't even retain focus fire on me. So we're just able to put down some extra shots, some extra damage. He's just a twig at this point, and there he goes. That is the final kill of the round, and that's going to do it for this episode and this final round with the Lisa Direwolf build. Let's check out the end score. 12-2, 1 kill, 7 assists, 712 damage with 6 components destroyed. Excellent push, excellent teamwork from both long and short range. But now it's time to hop back into the garage, close out with some final thoughts, my final opinion on this guy, and then pretty much just wrap up the entire video. So let's hop back into the garage and close it out. Alrighty guys, so let's close out the video, but first with some final thoughts on the actual build. So first and foremost, the pros of the build. You have every weapon type at your disposal, and you have pretty much a weapon that will be suitable for every stage of the match. So you have long range support from the beginning, and as an extra bonus when you're, just putting down some filler damage is what I like to call it. So in between, when your primary weapons are firing off, you'll be able to fire those Lerms, rattle the cockpit a little bit, kind of blind your opponents from being able to see anything. You follow up with the UAX and the PPCs. It's a deadly combination, especially once you start getting into the later rounds and you have some range on your targets and everything. By having all these kinds of weapons and this kind of composition of weapons at your disposal, you really have an added benefit or a little bit more of a bonus, because you could follow up with those, with the UAX, especially if they start to come in close range. The PPCs, being ER PPCs, will do maximum damage if they do try to close in. You do have to be a little bit careful about the heat. So it definitely is a very, very unique build, and that's definitely the biggest pro that this build has, is the fact that it is compatible with every single stage of the match. With that being said, though, it's time to go through a little bit of stuff that I would be wary about if you guys do decide to take this build out for yourselves or modify it even slightly. First and foremost is the fact that you have so many different things going on, and the heat management is, although seemingly great, it might be a little bit of a problem, especially when you try and utilize, even in chain fire, you could see that the heat was stacking up, firing off the PPCs, then the UAX, and then following through with the Lerms for the filler damage and everything. Going through almost 2, maybe 3 salvos, you're already peaking around 90% on the heat threshold. So definitely not optimal by any means, but this is a very unique build, so it's very, very different from everything that I've ever seen on a Direwolf. I never would have come up with this build personally myself, so it definitely does have to cater to a very specific, unique type of player that is kind of comfortable with, utilizing every type of weapon, liking to that support fire with the Lerms and the PPCs. I'm more of a skirmish brawler, so this was a huge way for me to kind of step out of my comfort zone, and I really do throw Sally One some credit for giving me this build, because it really not only tested the build and how feasible it is in multiple stages, multiple different types of scenarios, but it also tested me personally as a pilot and from a patience perspective. I'm used to, when I see red, I like to charge in and kind of just rip them apart and get kill shots. But with this mech, you can't just run in and do that. You don't have the weapon types for that. So, the only thing that could really do that is the UAX. And even, you could do optimal damage at mid-range with the UAX. So that's just another thing that you have to kind of take into perspective. So, it's definitely a unique build. It's fit for a particular type of player. And, Sally One, he said that he's very, very good with this build. He loves using it. He says it just tears through all of his opponents. But I do have to say, I think that is dependent on the tier that you're in. When you start to get towards, from 3 to 2 to 1, it's expected that 100-ton assault mechs are on the front lines. And, you might get wiped away pretty quickly with this build. Even though we were in Tier 1, Tier 2, Tier 3 kind of matches here, you could see that the damage wasn't optimal from an assault. So that's just something that I took note of, and it was consistent. And these aren't even like, I went through a couple of rounds, and there were some that were just very frustrating, and then there were some that worked out flawlessly. The team was all on the same page. So it's definitely a hit or miss once you start getting to the top tiers. Now, when you're in maybe Tier 4, Tier 5, when everyone is just trying to get their shots in, work on their targeting, work on their, their aiming and everything like that, I feel like this is a very, very viable build. You're not going to see anyone really running in as expert skirmish brawler pilots, chopping off legs or coring components or severing any kind of other part of the mech. These are the mechs that you're going to be seeing in the Tier 4s, Tier 5s. You do see them in 3, 2, and 1. It's just not as prominent, I guess you could say. And that has nothing against the build in any capacity. I'm just giving my 2 cents as to where I think this mech fits into the game if you were to take this loadout. When you get to Tier 2, Tier 1, it's all about overloading with metas and DACA. I mean, you guys can understand exactly where I'm coming from. So I hope that you take it from that perspective. I'm not saying anything negative per se about the build itself. I'm just saying be careful as to what tier you're in if you're going to take out a 100-ton assault mech, because the expectations definitely shift as you climb into the top tiers. So definitely just take all that into consideration. Overall, I had a blast playing with it. It's definitely fun. Definitely gives multiple perspectives, multiple roles for the Direwolf that I never really even took into consideration. So with that being said, I can definitely appreciate the build. I really do want to give Sally One a huge thank you for the support on the channel and for even submitting this request build. Since his first request until now, it's taken me a long time to actually complete this video. Because I just am not used to this style of gameplay. So maybe that's something that I would have to develop a little bit more. And, this build might even be viable for Tier 2 and Tier 1. But as for initial primary thoughts at this point, for the first times taking this mech out with this particular build, that is my conclusion given what I've seen and what I've experienced. So just take all of this with a grain of salt. Obviously, you guys are going to form your own opinions if you take out the build for yourselves or if you modify it in any capacity. As you can see, a majority of the other assaults I was out there with were either Marauder 2Cs, Kodiaks, or if it was a Direwolf, it's all kind of brawly, high short-range DPS kind of builds that you're seeing. So again, take everything as you see it, experience it for yourselves. Please feel free to leave any comments, questions, concerns, or suggestions again in the comment section below so that everyone could check them out. I would love to hear your guys' feedback. If you like the build, if you would modify it, I'm sure Sally One, again, is going to check out everything that has to be left in the comment section for you guys for his feedback on this lovely beast in front of you that he likes to call Lisa. So thank you again to Sally One. Thank you guys so much for all the support. I really do appreciate it. I hope you enjoyed this video. If you did, hit that like button, hit the subscribe button. Check out the links in the description if you haven't already. I want to thank you guys so much again for all the support, and I do look forward to seeing you on the next one. Take care, guys.